Iker. Yeah, thank you. So finally, we get to the Iker part of what do you say?
Said the last daf in Kedushin.
That's the last
daf in Gittin.
Yeah, thank you. Last daf in Gittin. Yeah. Yeah. So finally, we get into the sugya of what's considered grounds for divorce. All right. A very interesting daf. Famous daf, actually. Okay, so let's see. I didn't have enough time to look into the Shulchan Aruch exactly because it's interesting. There's the Machlokes. Okay, let's see. So Zog the Mishna, top of Tzadi Amud Aleph. So Beishamai Oimrim Lo Yigarish Adam is Ishtay. Beishamai says you're not allowed to divorce your wife. Ela Imkein Matzah B'Dover Ervo, unless there's a ma'aseh of znus. Shenemar Ki Matzah B'Ervas Dover. When a man finds an Ervas Dover in his wife, then he could divorce her. Right.
So why did Beishamai say Im Kein Matzah Ervas Dover? What did he say? Im Kein Matzah Dover Erva. Why did he change the lashon?
Oh, why did he? Because I don't know. That's maybe biblical Hebrew versus biblical. There's much bigger kashas on this shita of Beishamai is fascinating. Let's wait till we do the Gemara. There's so many kashas on this opinion of Beishamai that it's unbelievable. But let's see. So again, Beishamai, it's taka quiet here. It's a machaya. Beishamai Oimrim. Right, so Beishamai says, yeah, like the lo yigarshad mesishta elim kein matzah b'davar erva. You have to find the davar erva. Shenemar ki matzah b'davar davar beis. Hillel Oimrim afilu hakdicha tafshiloi. Even if she burns her cooked food, meaning she burns the food, right? Everybody knows this. Shenemar ki matzah b'ervas davar. Right. So meaning what is Beis Shammai's, what's Beis Hillel's limud? It's erva or davar. If he finds in his wife either erva or davar or something that's bothering him, then he's allowed to divorce her, right? Which is quite interesting because Beis Hillel was the one that was more known for being tolerant than Beis Shammai, right? All those Gemaras about how patient Hillel was, right? So now I don't know if there's a difference between Beis Hillel and Hillel, right? Not sure. Fine, but that's again, Beis Shammai holds the only way you're allowed to get divorced is if there is a erva situation. Beis Hillel says no, it could be even if she burns the food. Yeah. Now, there are those that say it doesn't really mean burning the food. It's just like a mushal for that, that there's shalom bias issues. It doesn't necessarily mean burning the food. Okay. Then Rabbi Kiva is a third sheet. Even if he finds a wife more beautiful than her, then he can also get divorced. And if she no longer finds chen in his eyes, he's allowed to divorce her. Right, so I mean it's very fascinating, this machlokes. So Beis Shammai says you can't get divorced unless she misbehaves. Beis Hillel says you can get divorced if she messes things up, and Rabbi Kiva says you could do whatever you want. Right, if you find a wife that appeals to you better, then that's it. Then you could divorce your wife. Meaning your wife could be perfect. If you found somebody better, you're allowed to divorce her.
Do we ever see a place where Rabbi Akiva is chaylik on Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel?
I wish I knew enough to answer that question.
It's kind of strange.
Yeah. It is. But let's see in the Gemara how it goes. So Tanya, so the Gemara. Amra Beis Hillel Beis Shammai. Beis Hillel said to Beis Shammai, "V'aloi kfar nemar davar." It says davar, right? Again, Beis Shammai said that the reason is because ki yimtza ba ervas davar. So what's davar in the pasuk, right? So Beis Shammai didn't darshan it. Beis Shammai just darshan the word erva. Beis Hillel said, no, there's erva, and then there's also the word davar. So Beis Hillel is asking Beis Shammai, what are you doing with the word davar? Amrlan Beis Shammai, v'lo kfar nemar erva. Ervas. What are you doing with the word ervas? Amrlan Beis Hillel, im nemar ervas, v'lo nemar davar. If it would say just the word erva without the word davar, Hayisi Amar would have said mishum erva teitze. She only goes out because of erva, mishum davar like teitze. But for anything else, like burning the food, she would not go out. Lakach nemar davar. That's why it says davar, to tell you that even for other reasons. Ve'ilu nemar davar, even if it would say davar v'lo nemar ervas, and it doesn't say ervas, Hayisi Amar, I would say mishum davar tinase la'acher, right? Because of, meaning if he's just upset at something that she did, then she should get married to others. But because of erva, she's not allowed to marry somebody else, right? So lakach nema erva, therefore it tells you erva that for both reasons. Right? So Beis Hillel has a reason why the Torah needed to say erva and davar. Whereas Beis Shammai ha davar my avdilay. Hi davar. What does Beis Shammai do with the word davar? Lamaisa he leaves the word davar open. So the Gemara says, "Nemar kan davar v'nemar la'alan davar." It says here davar, and it says further davar. Al pishnayim edim, al pishleisha edim, yakum davar. With 2 edim or 3 edim, you have to establish this thing. Mala'alan b'shnei edim, just like over there, it's 2 edim. Avkan b'shnei edim. So too here, you not only is it that if she messes around, but there needs to be 2 edim in order to warrant a divorce. Very, very chomer according to Beis Shammai. Miksiv ervas.
Two Adam that say that he found a woman that's nicer than her? That's that's prettier than her?
No. According to Beis Shammai, not a
okay, fine. Okay.
According to Beis Shammai, they need to. It can't even be a rumor. It has to be mamish Adam. Right? What's the chances of having Adam mamish seen? Right? Beis Hillel miksiv erva bid davar. Beis Hillel says it's not a time. It doesn't say an erva with davar. So Beis Shammai miksiv oy erva oy davar. Right? According to Beis Hillel, it sounds like it's erva or davar. It doesn't say oy. Beis Hillel lahachi ksiv ervas davar. The reason why it says ervas davar without the word oy, the mashma hachi. So it can be mashma like this, umashma hachi. It can be mashma like that. Meaning it can go both ways. Okay, so that's the back and forth. Right? So a couple of the kashas that are to be asked on Beis Shammai. Right, Beis Shammai says that the only way you could divorce your wife is what? If there's Adam that she was mezana. What do you mean that's the only way you could divorce? You have to divorce your wife. Right? You don't have a choice. Right? That's one kasha, according to Beis Shammai. Other kashas are, who says, what are the other kashas? Along these same lines.
If he had Adam, why does he have to divorce her? She's chayv mitzvah, no?
Correct. That's yeah.
That saves him the ksuva also.
Exactly. Right. And what else? What other kashas do the Mefarshim ask on Beis Shammai? I'm not remembering now. But along those lines, like when do you ever have a grusha? How does a kohen never marry? What's a pshat? A kohen can't marry a grusha according to Beis Shammai. He can't marry the grusha because she was mezana. She has a din zayna, right? For all the kahanim here, right? According to Beis Shammai, when do you have a din of a kohen? Oh, a kohen can't marry grusha. Of course he can't marry grusha. The only way she could get divorced if she was mezana. So she has a din zayna. The
puzzle says grusha is zayna lo tikar. So it's memanashaf.
Right.
Both ways he can't marry her.
Exactly. In both ways, she's a zayna. Right? The only way you could get divorced is if your wife is a zayna. So what do you need two words in the pasuk? There's a lot of these type of kashas. So some say to give you 2 isurim on the kohen, 2 isurim instead of 1 isur. Right? Okay, whatever. These are the kashas.
Does that mean that, according to all of these tanoim, if none of these conditions were met, he gave a get. It's a get possible. Get doesn't work. Or this is the only reason he can give a get. But if he gives a get, it's a get.
Yeah, but what do you need the separate isser for?
Well, it depends what they're trying to say. Is Bishami, if you read the literal taich, a man should not divorce his wife unless there's something seriously wrong. And if he did,
Correct.
and if he did,
what do you mean if he did? Well, who cares?
he gave her a get. It's a get
So
possible.
he gave her a get. So what?
It's a good. The gerushin still works.
Right. So then you could be over on 2 isurim instead of 1. You could be over al zayna, and you could the kinds be over al zayna and grusha, right?
Who? No, I'm saying there was no znus. According to Shammai.
Not
according to Shammai. If she burnt his food.
I mean, if a guy gives a divorce to his wife,
right.
That's what I didn't have what you're saying. Yeah, I hear. Maybe that would be the situation. Okay, I don't know. Maybe you're saying, does Beishamai require a guy to remarry his wife? That's really what you're asking.
Well, or does
according to
it work?
Beishamai, you're not allowed to divorce your wife.
Or the get just is not a valid get. It means nothing.
Well, that's what he's asking, Gershon. Right?
Yeah,
I think that's essentially what he's asking, right?
And he doesn't have to get remarried. He was never divorced.
You have a case of Grusha L'Kayim. Without znus, he gave a get. Okay, so he was over. He was over on the Isra Beis Shammai. So she's a Grusha.
I don't know. Whatever. These are the kashas. It's a very interesting sheet of Beishamai. Yeah. Okay. Weiter. So Rabbi Kiva, he's the most makel. Afilu matzah acheres. Even if you find another wife. So b'maika miflagi, what's the machlokes? Meaning, what does this mean? What's the machlokes? Because Rabbi Kiva is taking on Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. Right? Meaning, Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel say you're allowed to divorce your wife with cause. Right? But Rabbi Kiva says no, you don't need cause.
Why does he have to get divorced? Why couldn't he just take on another wife?
Oh, that's a good question, right? This is before the Chen Rabbeinu Gershon.
What do you mean? Then he's got to support 2 of them. He wants to get rid of one. Why does he need 2 people? He only wants to support 1. Get rid of the other one.
Why do you want to get rid of the first one? You still
because he found somebody better. He found somebody prettier. He doesn't want.
No, but it's interesting.
Why does he have to keep 2? Why can't he just get rid of her?
Because she's a good investment. You got my
investment. It's a bad investment. He doesn't want to end up with a Ben Ahuva and a Ben Shua, Ben Myra.
No, he's but Peretz, you see, the pasuk says right? It's interesting the way Rabbi Kiva says it. Rabbi Kiva says if he finds somebody nicer than her, then he can get divorced. So what's the pasuk? The pasuk is im loy the simtza chein be'enov. So he doesn't want to keep her anymore because he found a nicer wife. He has no need for her, so he can divorce her. And Achanami, I think Peretz is right. I think he could marry a second wife, but if he chooses not to, because he doesn't get anything out of her anymore, so then that's it. Right? But anyways, Rabbi Kiva, again, main thing to understand is Rabbi Kiva is taking on Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. He holds you can get divorced without any cause. Without cause.
The difference between one and the other is the pasuk says that im loisim tzavchein be'enav, right? Meaning he just stopped liking her. According to Rabbi Kiva, he went out and found somebody prettier. It's a different, you know what I mean?
Right.
What came first? He's going to search. I don't know. Why are you forced to say that? I don't understand. Why are you forced to say that? Nobody's forcing anybody to say anything. This is what Rabbi Kiva says. I don't hear that.
Right.
I don't hear that so clear.
Okay, well, let's see.
He could get married a year later. Doesn't make sense. What does Rabbi Kiva say? Matzah acheres. He found somebody else. Yeah, so now he gets divorced. The pasuk mashma, he only gets divorced if he doesn't like her. Not that he found anybody else.
Yeah.
Since afilu.
I don't.
Afilu is the key word there. Even if it's like.
Oh, I hear that order. That's a good order. No, it's a
Akiva's
feel.
shita in Seiser, you need Seiser Almanas live nice. This would also be, you can't just have a get by itself. It needs to be Almanas live nice.
I hear. I don't know about that, but okay. Okay, it's a good word. Yeah.
It's
Okay,
Taisus. Taisus says it by Rav Shimon and Shabbos. Machlokes Rav Shimon and Rabbi Yossi and Rabbi Huda. Rav Shimon was the main Talmud of Rabbi Akiva.
Right.
And he says because of that, Rav Shimon holds that you need Seiser Almanas live nice in the same place, something nicer, something better.
Right.
This would be the same thing.
I hear.
Can't just be matzah, what's it called? It has to be that there's something better.
Right. I hear that. I hear. Okay, very good. So let's see. So Rabbi Akiva says, "Ki mishamash bedadul l'shaynis." The word "ki" can be translated in 4 different ways. You see that Rashi? See that long Rashi to the right? Rashi goes through all of Tanakh, all the cases of Tanakh where it could be used, where "ki" has different translations. Ki mishamash bedadul l'shaynis in the Gemara. If Dilma is maybe, Ella is only or but, and Daha is because. So depending on how you're going to understand, how you're going to translate the word ki, will depend on what you're going to have over here. So Beishamai Savri Vahaya im loisim tzachim be'enav. And it was if she does not find chen in his eyes. Ki matzah ba'ervas davar, because he found ervas davar. So how do you touch in ki? Deha. Beishamai is teaching the hamatzah ba'ervas davar because he found an ervas davar. Rabbi Akiva savar ki, the word ki matzah ba'ervas davar, inami matzah ba'ervas davar, or he found ervas davar, meaning not that it's for sure, but one or the other. All right, so I'm a little popular Rava. So what about if he doesn't find an erva and he doesn't find anything bad? So what's the din? Right? So Amalei, he said back to him, so by oinus, what does the pasuk say? If a guy rapes a woman, he's mechuyev to stay married to her, unless she doesn't want to. But if she wants it, he's mechuyev, he cannot divorce her. And if he divorces her, he has to remarry her. So lo yuchal shalcha kol yamav. He's not able to send her out all his days. Kol yamav Amud v'hichzekoi. Right? And all his days, he's amoid v'hichzer, he has to take her back. So hasam hu the gali rachmana. There the Torah said that he has to stay married to her. Aval hacha, but here, my davar avad, here what he did. Meaning, like sort of like what Gershom was saying before. He was not supposed to get divorced. But if he did, he does not have to remarry. He does not have to remarry her. Right?
So he just gets, but he gets an avera?
The l'chayra, I don't know what avera, but I don't know what avera he gets, but yeah, he gets an avera. Yeah, 100%. Right?
So maybe it's only lichatchila. If you want to, Rabbi Sham is only saying lichatchila. You want to divorce your wife, it has to be the matzah. But if you gave her a divorce anyway, so it gets good, still good. Why should that be an avera?
No one's arguing on that.
No, but he don't have to.
It would be an Isra Say.
It would be an Isser Asay. It would be an Isser. Why? What would be the Isser Asay?
Kimatzu ba'ervas davar. He's over on Kimatzu ba'ervas davar. It's not a lav.
Right.
Well, it's not a lesson of a lav at all.
What?
It doesn't say Yisham came to Al, so it's not a lesson of a lav at all.
Right. It's a lashon of an asay.
So
he's over on an asay. That's an Isra Say.
I hear.
The essay is that he can never get divorced. He's supposed to stay married forever.
Ideally, yeah. We learned Saita. That's based on the Aleph and Saita.
Yeah.
The Eibishter put them together. Wait, he has no Amunah?
No, we'll get to that on our base. Let's see. So I'm a little Mashashi L'Ravi. Im Liba Legarsha. Let's say a guy has it in his heart to divorce his wife. He Yeshevas Tachto Mishamashta. And she's sitting under him. It doesn't mean literal, meaning she's living in his house. And Mishamashta, she helps him out. Mao. Right? So meaning basically he's pulling the wool over us. He's about to divorce her, but he doesn't tell her. So what's the din? So Kari
What
Alei,
do you mean? What's the din as far as what?
can he do that? Is that
What
He
is it?
didn't
Nice?
do anything. He just had the thought. He didn't
Is
follow
it nice
through with it.
midas? What?
no,
what
it sounds like no. This, by the way, this is Negeya Lamaisa. This actually is a Negeya Lamaisa. Rashi says
He didn't follow through with this.
no, he is going to follow through.
Is it what he can't live with her because he wants to divorce her?
Correct. That's the din.
Is that? I'm saying I know that's the din, right? But what I mean, if a guy says, if a guy gets, I don't mean to. If a guy got very upset, he says, no, maybe I should divorce my wife. So he's not allowed to live with her. That's an issue.
No. Once
Said
he's,
maybe. It's not
the way I
maybe.
understand is once the guy decides to divorce his wife, then if he continues to use her, and then he's einish. Rashi says, is there an einish for this? It's very interesting. Like the Gemara, since when the Gemara really asked something like that? If a guy decides to divorce his wife
Right,
and he still
right.
uses her, is there a punishment for that? No, since like
I mean,
what
if a
done
guy does business with somebody else and he really doesn't plan on doing business with him, is he
Correct.
overlaw? I'm
Correct.
asking. It just applies everywhere.
That's considered misleading. Yes, that's considered misleading. You're not allowed to do that either. But I don't know if they ask about a punishment. Here the Gemara is saying, is he going to get punished? Right?
So does that apply everywhere? Is he going to get punished? If I
Probably. I'm assuming if you mislead somebody in business and you don't really ever plan, it's considered Geneva's das, right? It's considered Geneva's das.
I'm shopping around.
That's fine. Shopping around is fine. Not when you're married already. Be shopping.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Anyway, so that's what the Gemara
Let's say
says.
he changes his mind, and we had the whole thing. The get is folded over a million times so that the guy's not.
No, that's right. Yeah, no, that would be fine as long as he's
But
not.
the guy already decided because he had them write the get, right? So now let's say he, on the sixth fold, he says, you know what? Forget it. I don't want to do it anymore.
Now listen, what should I tell you? I've had people that actually, I can't say it happened that often, that once or twice. The guy says, I'm getting divorced. Can I be with my wife? Whatever that means. The answer is no. But come from this Gemara, it's not allowed. Right? But that's the way of Shulchan Aruch paskins. Why? Because Kari Alei, the pasuk calls him al techrash al reachara. Don't think about on your friend Rav, who Yoshev lebetach itach, and he is sitting betach means he's with bitachon with you.
I mean, the
Right.
guy had a reason for divorcing her, right?
Well, that's going to be telling you the Machlokes.
Well, something was up. He didn't
Right,
just
and-
stop, wake up in the morning, and everything was rosy. They were having some type of issues. So you're telling me she had no clue this was going on?
Yeah, sometimes they could be clueless. Yes, sometimes dait and kalas. You have no idea. You have no idea, right? You have it like that in dating. A girl thinks, yeah, he's great, he loves me. All of a sudden, he drops her like a hot potato, and they're like, where did that come from? That happens both ways. Right?
Yeah, okay, dating. Well, if you're married to the lady for 10 years, I better hope that
I don't know. I'm just all right. Whatever. Yeah. Anyways, Tanya. Hayirameir Oimer. Now this is very interesting Gemara. This next Gemara. Hayirameir Oimer. Kishem Shaha Deus b'Michael. Just like there are certain people that have different deus in eating, right? The mushal Peretz wears his gloves when he prepares. If we had to see him tonight, we would have had what to talk about with Peretz, right? Peretz wears his gloves when he makes his food. You're not getting cleaner food than with Peretz, right? So there's different deus in Michael, right? Kach deus b'Noshim. They have deus in Noshim too. Right, so what does this mean? Kaisai, if you got a guy who a fly falls into his kais, and he throws it, he's not going to drink it. V'zui midas Pafus ben Yehuda. That's the midah of Pafus ben Yehuda. Shayanoel b'fnei ishta v'yotze. He would lock his wife in her house so that she would not go out and socialize, so that she won't end up being, whatever, frivolous. What would be the word? With people. Right? It almost sounds like the what do you call people in the Eretz Yisrael? No, the black. What do you call those people?
Black Hebrews.
The burkas.
The Burker people, right? So this guy locked up his wife. So he's the same as a guy. He does not want his wife interacting with any males whatsoever. So therefore, he locks her in the house.
This Pafus ben Yehuda was an Amora?
I have no idea, right? Rashi says he was the Baila Shomiri Megadlin Desai. She was a hair. She whatever. She did hair braiding, right? Whatever. She ended up being
we had her before. She wasn't. She was mistaken for the mother of Yashka. In the Gemara before, we had two Miriams.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, this one wasn't great.
Yeah, because she ended up being Mazana because of this husband. Right? She ended up being Mazana because of the husband. Because it's an interesting thing, sometimes people ask the Shaila, if you tell them.
I mean, she was locked up.
No, she escaped, or whenever she got out. Now I'm saying with the certain people that if you tell them that they have to kasher the utensil, they're going to throw out the food. In most kashrus shilas, the food is good, the utensil should be kasher. But if you know that the person, if you tell them that the utensil has to be kasher, they're not listening. They're going to throw out. They're going to throw out the utensil. They're going to throw out the food, right? Because it's just certain type like that, right? So that's this type. Fine. That's the first type. Second type. A fly falls into his cup, and he throws it out, and he drinks it. That's the midah of most people. And he lets her talk to her brothers and the kroivim, right? But
realize it doesn't say other men. It says her brothers.
Correct, that's exactly right. Yeah, he does. No, isn't this the norm? Most women are not hanging out with other men, right? They're supposed to only sit, only with kroiveha, by the word, it says her relatives, not his relatives.
Her brother-in-law, not his brother-in-law.
What?
Her brother-in-law, not his brother-in-law.
Not her. It doesn't say brother-in-law. Her brothers and relatives.
Kroiva means men relatives.
Her male relatives. Her brothers.
Her male relatives. The brother-in-law.
I would think that it
Brother-in-law is not a relative.
No, not brother-in-law. It means kroiva. I thought uncles, maybe not. I don't even know Taka. Father. I don't know. The truth is, you're right. What's kroiva being adding to it? I thought it meant like cousins, but the truth is they can marry her.
It doesn't mean relatives at all. It just means close people.
Oh, that's a question.
Would be included in that.
I don't know. I right. So that you're right. I don't think that's the shot, but okay. Fine. The third is that a fly falls into the tamchui. Not only does he not throw out the fly, he doesn't want to lose his food that got absorbed into the fly. So he sucks on the fly to get out all the taste.
5-second rule.
Exactly. Right. And it's not usher. So he sucks on the fly. Zuhi midas adam ra. That's the midah of a bad person. Because he sees his wife leaving the house. Her hair's uncovered. The tava b'shuk, and she's spinning in the shuk, she's sewing in the shuk. We've had this before, because she ends up not being tznius. Antam beis now, upruma mishnei tzadeh, and her clothing is torn from both sides of her, meaning it's not tznius. Now this next one is very negeya now. And she bathes with people. So Gemara with men. So Gemara says
mixed women grounds for divorce.
1 second. 1 second. It's a good, yeah. In Bnei Adam, so Gemara says in Bnei Adam, you think that she's swimming with men? Ella b'makom shebnei Adam roichtzin. It's only with Bnei Adam.
She walks into the locker room.
Right?
She
Yeah,
walks
basically,
into
that's what Rashi says. She goes into
the
she
men's
goes-
locker room.
She used the men's mikveh. She used the men's mikveh.
Well, she's not using it with them. She's just around.
No. Yeah. Okay.
So then
They
Zoom
leave
mitzvah.
and she go in.
Yeah, so Zoom mitzvah and atayra legarsha shenemar kimatza be'ervas davar v'shilcha mibeisa, and he has to send her out.
So
Now,
basically, a guy has a wife that becomes a little bit more modern. She wants to go mixed swimming. You can say it's ground for divorce and no ksuba.
He's letting her do this. He's watching her do this.
Well,
Right,
she's
now,
doing it.
now 1 second.
We're on tape. We shouldn't do it.
No. What about if she? Here's my question, and this question I get this question every day, every other day now in the summer and in winter vacation. If she's in her schwim kleid, counts or not? Does not count.
I don't know what that means.
You don't know what schwim kleid is, really?
Yeah, it's the ladies wear stuff to the pool. Well, that's it.
Meaning it's a
No, it's
tznius
very tznius clothes. It's very, very tznius. So my daughter, I got it once for my daughter when I took her to Hawaii. It was just a very tznius clothes.
I wouldn't call it very tznius, but it's.
I mean, it covers her up completely, and it's just like a dress, except like that's
Right. It's made out
like
of bathing suit material. It's a dress made out of bathing suit. Right. So is that her going swimming like that in a pool where men are swimming? Yeah,
It might
grounds of
not be.
divorce, man.
No, it might not be in the spirit of the. It might not be us, but it's not in the physical, not in the spirit.
in the Sefer All for the Boss. She writes that if when she was a girl, she wanted to go swimming, and her father, Yosef Herman, he was against it. Finally, he went and bought her this front swim leather, and he let her go then. So there's something there, you know. That's what I based myself on when I took my daughter to Hawaii.
I don't think it said with men.
In New York, it was always mixed. New York was always mixed. When you go to Coney Island, kick out all the boys. Right?
No, but the point is, it doesn't say here that she's getting undressed. It says that she's
Rashi's mashma like that.
What is Rashi mashma like that?
Rashi says kashahein leivshin bigdeya.
Where are you reading?
B'makom shebnei adam roichtzin.
The third line down.
Footnote 3 in the art. Footnote 3 in the art scroll.
She enters what?
While in front of their eyes. They watch her go in. After they come out, kashahein leivshin bigdeya. Well, they are wearing the clothing. She's not.
That's why you're being mashma, that she's not.
That's what rechitza is. Rechitza is bathing naked. That's what it always was.
I hear. Yeah, I hear you, dear. I didn't learn like that, but now that you're saying it, I hear it. She's undressing in front of other men. Okay, because I thought we had a reason to ask her the swim kleid and all that and the mixed swimming. And now you're busting that up. Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
What's the Gemara's whole question then? In Bnei Adam Salkadaitach, like you really think she's swimming with them?
With them, that's obviously.
Oh, so walking nude through the locker room and into the water, that doesn't count as bathing with them?
They left. They can still see it. They didn't make sure the door was closed. No, they are dressed. They are dressed, and they left, but the door isn't closed yet.
And you see that in Rashi, what's 3/4 of the way closed? I mean, what does it say? How many hinges on the door?
She walks in while they're watching her. After they already left. While they are dressed.
Right.
According to this note, it says the men are still dressed.
The men are still dressed?
Still dressing. They're in the process of getting dressed.
What's the after Yitzias? Oh, okay. So he's learning it while they're getting dressed. After they came out of the pool, the boy or whatever. All right.
I don't know, whatever. But this is
it's very tricky. I'm saying you have this in marriages sometimes that the wife is not maybe right, and she'll say,
Azev, this happens all the time. Women go in mixed pools swimming with their schwimmkleid. If you hold that that's a problem, that she's bathing with men not undressed, and then it's usher.
I get it. That it's
Not
also,
only is it
is
usher,
it grounds
mitzvah
is
legarsha.
it grounds for divorce? That's what I mean.
Yes, that's yes. Not
So,
only is it grounds of divorce, he has to divorce her.
Wait a minute. You there's cases you haven't had. I mean, I'm sure you had. I know a couple couples that over the years they're not on the same page. So you have to divorce them.
Oh, so very good. So the Gemara says mitzvah legar. So mitzvah minat
No, Toysis says.
Toysis says chiyuv.
So I'm asking you. So look, I'm saying.
Nami, I don't know what to tell you. It's
a chiyuv to divorce. I mean, I don't have to tell. I'm sure you had to come across over the years that they're not on the same page.
And Thiago, I don't understand. And the couples that are going up to whatever, but not doing exact tashmish, that they don't have to get divorced. I mean, that they're swimming in the schwimmkleid, that we're going wild over.
And a chanami. It's all the. By the way, it's all the time. All the time. But there's lots of couples where the guy is from or the girl's from, or you have a lot of times balichua where he's from and she's not, or she's from and he's not.
You make it sound like it's grounds to divorce, and if he doesn't divorce her,
according to
but you knew that they knew that going into the marriage, no?
Even so. Bottom line is Shulchan Aruch paskens, it's a mitzvah legarsha. If you're not interested in that mitzvah, you don't have to divorce her. That's pshat. Toysa says it's kasha, but lemaisa Shulchan Aruch paskens, it's a mitzvah to divorce her. If you don't want to divorce her, you don't have to divorce her. There's no issur to stay married to her, right? Right.
The shear of water.
I don't know. We talking about a kiddie pool? Okay, I don't know. Okay.
Pool, if you're in the ocean and I'm on one side of the ocean, and
That's
she's on the
it's a
other
good
side.
question. Parrots, that question gets asked a lot. How far away? Women ask me, it happens now, like whatever, that fairly often. Can I go into an ocean in a mixed ocean? I say, go further away. I mean, what should I tell you? I don't even know who I'm texting. I can't just say it's mutter. Then it goes out all over the internet. He said, look at, I got a text from a rabbi. He says that it's mutter to go mixed swimming. Wonderful. Right? So I say, go far away from it. How far away?
Tell him to stay.
Tell him to do that. That'll be your exit strategy.
Tell him to stay as far away as if there was a fire. That's a tough
you put up a mechitza between the one side of the water and the other. You're going to say, put up a mechitza, then somebody else is going to come ahead and say, forget the mechitza, put up a tzoros HaPesach, that's enough.
Tzoros HaPesach. Yeah. All right, with a lechi. I'll tell you the funny part. So a lot of women, another question. I'm in a mixed pool. Do I have to cover my legs from the knees down? Because they know in town you got to wear socks. A woman can't go barefoot. Like, I want to tell them, but I don't know who they are. I want to tell them, really, you're in a mixed pool and you're worried about your knees being covered with socks and your ankles? Like, what is? All right, whatever.
They're a moth.
On that they're from.
Whatever. Anyways, okay.
I think it's the husband texting the wife's phone.
Listen, on that note, a lot of couples go to pool areas, mixed swimming, right? And she's in her schwimmkleid, because that's from a thing, and he's in his bathing suit, right? It's so wrong. It should be the opposite. He shouldn't be there, and she should be in a bathing suit. That's more mutter. This one I really can't say, Aaron, right? It's more mutter for her to be in a bathing suit. She's in a pool with all these women undressed. Big deal. A man's going to see her. He's seeing 1,000 other women undressed, right? The man being in a mixed pool in his bathing suit, seeing women undressed, is mamish asamid dairaisa, no question about it. There's nothing to talk about, right? The people have it just backwards. The mamash have it backwards. Whatever. Shine.
The
Enough of that.
Eitzara,
My
the
summer was-
Eitzara.
My summer was
Tzviaka,
very
we know what
boring.
your status is tomorrow.
I'm not doing
My
that
summer
status
was very
tomorrow.
boring. My summer was very
One
boring
second.
compared to that.
One second. Now, I'm just a little. One second. I understand the man being
totally
there. But
woke
what
up.
difference does it make if the man? No, I'm listen. What happens if the man? What difference does it make the man not dressed?
It doesn't make a difference. What I'm saying is that
Oh,
the
doesn't. I
men
just want to
think
make sure I
that,
understand. The man being there is the issue. That I just want
of
to make sure
course,
I
that's what I'm
understood.
saying.
Okay,
The
fine. That's what I understood for years.
Tzviaka, Naftali almost went out and bought a shrimp fry for himself.
I just. I just want to make sure I understood you because you threw in the man in the bathing suit. That's not the issue. The man in the bathing suit.
No, what I'm
The man
saying,
being
my
there.
correct, Naftali. My point is that she's wearing the tznius clothing. He's not,
Right.
because they think that that's pashut, that's perfectly allowed, right? That's what I'm saying. That's my point. And then really what they're doing is just totally absurd. But okay, Sean.
Not allowed.
Yeah. What? I don't know
Weiter,
what
weiter. Let's go weiter. No?
Fine. Then the Gemara says, then she goes and she marries somebody else. So the Hakasav Kara Acher, the pasuk calls him somebody else. Right? Loimer Sheinze Ben Zuga L'Rishon. This guy is not Ben Zuga, is the pair. Right? This it literally means the son of the pair to the Rishon, meaning he's not as good a guy as the first husband. Why? The first husband, because he had this lady going mixed swimming, right? And so he divorced her. He got her out of the house. And this guy goes and marries her. He's bringing a bad woman into his house. Zacha, Sheni, Shalcha. So if the Sheni is Zaycha, he'll also divorce her. Shenemar, Usneya Ha'ish Ha'acharein. And the second man will also will hate her. Vim Lav. And if not, she's going to bury him, meaning he's going to die. Or the second husband dies. Kedai the Misa, it's Kedai that he dies. Because he got rid of, the first guy got rid of the Risha from his house. And this guy brought in Rishas to his house. Okay.
It's kind of a fine thing. We didn't give her a chance to do tshuva. After all that he gave her a divorce, right? Not leaving alone whether the ksuva or not, right? And she said, so fine. So she said, I see, I made a mistake. So he had to divorce me. He had a chance to marry me back. He didn't. So I go and marry another guy, right? But I did tshuva, she says. I did tshuva. Now she's looked at as the bad. She's still looked at as the bad person. So she didn't give a chance to do tshuva between the first husband and the second?
You're right. Well, where does you're right. Where does tshuva come in here?
Anytime you do a marry, you have to do tshuva. You find out you did something wrong. You do tshuva. You don't do it again. So that's what you're supposed to do. No.
Correct.
So
I don't know. I don't know how that works. Anyways,
that's part of the Hekesh of Ayli Yitzia. It's v'yatza v'haisa. There's nothing in between the v'yatza and the v'haisa. There's no tshuva. If there is tshuva, it's not v'yatza v'haisa.
Yeah. Anyways, okay. So let's see. Ki sonei shalach, right? Meaning the people that you hate, send them out. Rav Yehuda Omer im senesa shalach. If you hate her, then divorce her. Which Rashi says he means like Rabbi Akiva. If you just don't like your wife anymore, then divorce her. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Sanui HaMeshaleach, the opposite. The guy that divorces his wife without a good reason is going to be hated by Hashem. Rashi says that's like Beis Shammai. So we have two Amoraim arguing on how to teach this pasuk, whether it's like Rabbi Akiva, which is very permissive to divorce, right? Or like Beis Shammai, who's very not pro-divorce. But like Pligan, there's no Machlokes.
Look like Rabbi Yehuda was teaching ki as im.
That could be.
Yeah.
That could be. That's a good point. Right? So the Gemara says, like Pligi, habazug rishon, habazug sheni. One is talking about the first marriage, and one is talking about a second wife. Right? So this plays into the halacha l'maisa shabbat, meaning, is it more makel to divorce a second wife than it is to divorce a first wife? So based on this Gemara, and the Shulchan Aruch says that is okay. We'll get to the let's let me read you the Shulchan Aruch because it's very interesting. Because the Shulchan Aruch sounds like that the Shulchan Aruch is paskening like Beis Shammai. This is the Lashon Shulchan Aruch. Lo yigarish adam ishtoi rishayna. A person should not divorce his first wife. Elim kein matza ba'ervas davar, unless he finds an ervas davar. That's mamash Beis Shammai. This is not one of the things where we pasken like Beis Shammai, right?
Although Beis Shammai did switch to Lashon, as Rachman mentioned. Beis Shammai said Devar Erva.
Yeah.
So the Shulchan Aruch says Beis Hillel used the same pasuk.
Right. I hear. Okay, but then the Ramah. Let me do the Ramah. Then if not, and somebody that gets divorced, the mizbeach cries, which is the next Gemara. But dafka biyameim. Here we go. That's dafka, and this is why it's not negeya nowadays. But dafka biyameim. This is the Ramah talking. That was dafka in their days. Show you megarshin ba'al karchach, where they were able to divorce their wives against their will. So they had to have a good reason. Aval in megarshin bidaita, then mutter. But if she agrees to the divorce, meaning the couple's just not getting along anymore, so then there's none of this Machlokes does not apply, and you don't need a reason. Meaning, what do they call it? They call it when the celebrities get divorced. What is it called? An amicable divorce. They just don't see eye to eye anymore, or something like that. It's amicable.
Why is the Gemara differentiating between Eishes Neurim and the Zug Sheni?
Okay. So that's already also a major thing. What's the difference if you're married to the first wife or the second one? Because there's something to Eishes Neurim. There's something to like fate. Fate had it that you should be married to this woman. Don't mess with fate. Once that's gone, it seems like it's more make.
That's what Gershon was alluding to at the beginning of
right. Right, that was the fate. Okay, let's see. The second wide line. Anybody who divorces his first wife, even the misbeach cries. Now I don't know what the afilu is. Shenemar v'zois shenis tasu, and this is another thing you should do. Ksus dima es mizbach Hashem. Not ksus. Kasois dima es mizbach Hashem. When you're going to cause the base of the misbeach to cry, bachi v'anaka, and with crying, and anaka means like krechtzing, right? So may ayin oit p'nois ala mincha, because he won't be able to have a korban mincha anymore. And he took the desire from your hands, meaning that there's no, from the word Ritzei Hashem Elokeinu, and they say Alma, for what? Al ki Hashem heid beinach ubein eishes nurayich, because Hashem testified between you and the wife when you're young, Asher ata begadeta, that you rebelled against her, and she is your friend and the wife of your bris, meaning she's meant for you, and here it is that you're divorcing her. So, and there the pasuk is comparing it to the Beis Hamikdash, the Mizbeach. So therefore, since there's a comparison, so therefore that's how we know that the Beis Hamikdash, the Mizbeach cries over a divorce. Right? Okay. Hadron Hamegarish, וסליקא מסכת גיטין. Tomorrow we start Kiddushin. Kiddushin. The first couple of blot are a little dry. A lot of name and a number. I don't want anybody to be disappointed. Like getting a little bit more action, at least in the beginning in Kiddushin. Kiddushin Lamais has a lot of Gishmak Sugis, Kibbut Avaim, and Yichud. A lot of interesting things, but the beginning a little bit. It goes quick though. Anyways, all right. Mazel tov, everybody. L'chaim. We should make many more siyum together, and only a serious target.
All right.
All right.
Rabbi Stein,
Yeah.
if someone in their 30s, early 30s, late 20s, is given their first pair of tefillin,